Yo, Elliot. So we got a question from one of our buddies here who's got some really serious pain in his glutes and down his leg. He calls it sciatica. I've talked about this in other videos before. But essentially, his history is that he has been training at a gym that doesn't have a squat rack, so he's used the Smith machine. And if you're not familiar with the Smith machine, it's basically, if you could imagine, a barbell attached to a squat rack, and it only allows you to move in this range of motion, so straight up and down. So you can get underneath it, and you can do exercises with it, but it doesn't allow the body to move through its natural range of motion, right? And you can build some serious muscle on there. And a lot of people do. So a lot of guys are huge and jacked. Bodybuilders will show you, like, look at me, my man. I'm gigantic, I'm huge. Look at my muscles. Elliot Hulse is soft and weak compared to me. Listen to me. And they'll have you believe that building all this muscle on the machines is good and right and true. Well, what they're not realizing, and what you're experiencing now, is that when you train in these fixed patterns, namely squatting, in a Smith machine, you're training your prime movers. So these are the bigger muscles of your neuromuscular system. Your prime movers would be like your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your lats, your pecs. These are the big muscles. They're the most superficial muscles on your body. You can train them, you can stimulate them to growth, but the problem is when you stimulate those muscles to growth, so now you're stimulating your glutes and your quads while doing the squats on the Smith machine. When you stimulate them to growth in absence of the stabilizers of the pelvis and of the shoulders, so on and so forth. Now what you're doing is you're creating this imbalance between the stabilizers of your joints and the prime movers of your joints. So you've got big, powerful muscles on the outside, but no stability on the inside. I think I once heard, it was either Paul Chek or Charles Poliquin say, when you start training those prime movers in absence of the stabilizers, it's almost like putting a cannon on a canoe. Now you can imagine a cannon is a big, powerful weapon, right? These muscles on the outside, they're big, powerful weapons. Somebody sees a canoe, sees a cannon, they're scared, because obviously you see it, it's like, that thing will fuck me up. Well, you see all these big muscles on someone who's developed this the muscular system on machines, not realizing that you know what foundation that muscle's built on? A canoe. Now that's all right, that's fine, like if that's your sport and that's what you do and you don't really plan on doing anything athletic, except every once in a while, like our friend describes, you'll take a faulty step, you'll make like a little weird move, right? It just happens, it's part of walking around on earth and being a human being, you make a little weird move. And your body, and what has happened with him, and the reason why he's injured in this particular way, the body, because it's been trained to stimulate your nervous system, to stimulate the prime movers in absence of the stabilizers. See, the stabilizers aren't present, they're not necessary when the machine is stabilizing your joints for you. The Smith machine is stabilizing you. Now, I know it's not your fault, I'm not trying to tell you that that you're an asshole for using the Smith machine. It's all that was available, but I'm trying to shed light on why you're dealing with the issue that you're dealing with. So you've developed muscles, you've developed a cannon on a canoe. And the neuromuscular system will always, when we're training, we're teaching our body how to move. Believe it or not, we think we're just building muscle, but we're also teaching our body how to move. And you're teaching your body to move with prime movers in absence of stabilizers. And now, the muscles that would stabilize your pelvis are not present. And then when you're in a unstable situation, your nervous system acts accordingly, according to the training that you've afforded it, and stimulates those prime movers, and then it'll just create a problem. Your joints are going to be yanked out of position, and then your body freaks out, right? Because it's not a good thing for your joint to be yanked out of position because you have an overdeveloped quad and hip flexor in relationship to the stabilizers and perhaps even the antagonist muscles. And then it immediately starts trying to activate muscles that have never really worked before. They don't really know what they're doing. They chime in and then they hurt themselves. So hopefully I'm drawing a bigger picture for you here to understand just the implications associated with machine training. It's fine, guys. If you're a bodybuilder, that's what you want to do, that's just fine. Just to understand. Be aware. That's basically all it is. Be aware of the implications when you subject your body to certain things. Right? I like to smoke cigars about once a week. I smoke a cigar. There are implications associated with that. Now, I'm not going to get upset and wonder why, because I'm aware of the implications associated with it. Right? You machine train, there's implications associated with it. Prime movers in absence of stabilizers, faulty recruitment patterns. So when your body's fucked up, I'd like to be able to say, I told you so. Not because I want to be a dick, but because it's like, well, you're enlightened now. Now you know why. And you know what? Awareness is transformative in and of itself. So you can go and do something about it. One of the things I would invite you to do after correcting the muscle imbalances, which, you know, that's another story. Because one of the problems with correcting muscle imbalances is it requires you to lose a little bit of muscle sometimes. You know, you've got to reduce the tension in certain muscles, and that might mean that you need to soften it and relax it, don't train it for a while, is to also integrate movement-based exercise routines into your program if you're using machines. So if you're going to do Smith machine squats, also do some bodyweight squats, do some bodyweight lunges. That's what I invite you to do. Do some lunges, multi-directional lunges. So that means like you lunge forward, you could lunge sideways, you could lunge back, you could even do 45-degree lunges, all keeping your pelvis square. So that you're also teaching your nervous system how to move effectively through space, as opposed to in these rigid, fixed fashions. Take a yoga class. Take a bodyweight exercise class, do a little gymnastics. Exercise modalities that don't require that you use equipment or resistance, just your own body weight. And that will buffer you against the injuries associated with this dysfunctional exercise routine that most of us are engaged in. Done.
Yo, Elliot,